What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 10th of September 2023, on the eve of 9/11. Once again, after a pretty boring and mellow report last week, this week it is New World Order full speed ahead. I hope you're ready for a packed report, because I got plenty of it for you. Shit is going down, man. Click the first link below. We'll take you over to the Patreon post. That's where you can find all these links. If you want to see them, pull up the post. I'll post them all over there. Let's get in it. Nursing homes. In New Jersey, battle COVID-19 surge, hospitalization, death caused by but no fear. Moderna and Pfizer to the rescue. Updated COVID shots generate strong response versus newer variant. Okay, that from Reuters. You know how they're going to push things. Jill Biden test positive for COVID. Oh, no. Isn't she vaccinated? I don't understand what's happening here. That Politico. Here's what the White House press secretary has to say about Joe Biden testing negative and what he's doing.
As far as the steps he is taking, since the president was with the First Lady yesterday, he will be masking while indoors and around people in alignment with CDC guidance. And he, as has been the practice in the past.
Yeah, here's how seriously he takes it. Here we go. Check it out.
Hello, everybody. I'm explaining to the press. I've been tested again today. I'm clear across the board. But they keep telling me because this has to be 10 days or something, I got to keep wearing it, but don't tell them I didn't have it on when I walked in.
Yeah, that's how serious this is. Whoopi Goldberg's come down with it again, even though she's probably been vaccinated 50 times, right?
As you can see, Whoopi is not here. She has COVID. Yes.
It's back.
It's
back.
It's back. But she's on the mend. She's on the tail end.
Yeah, here's a response from her.
I have COVID.
It's so funny. I have COVID. I'm sitting in a room with a mask on, you know, because I have to. I have COVID.
I have to have a clear
It's a joke to these people. Other news, N95 mandated at schools in Washington, D.C. Check it, here comes the recommended masking and the forced masking and all that stuff again. President Trump addresses vaccine adverse effects for the first time, calls on Big Pharma to disclose safety data immediately. Wow, that's big coming from the guy who gave us warp speed. Cancer in people under 50 surges by 79%. Of course, Western diet, alcohol to blame. I wonder what else might be to blame. I got a couple at the bottom. We got in election news. Kamala Harris is what she has to say.
We will win the election. We will win the election. There is too much at stake, and the American people know it.
Have you looked at any of the comments under any White House video or anything that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris tweets out or anything like that? Devastating CNN poll pegs Biden at 39%, shows 67% of Democrats want a new candidate. But these people live in an alternate universe where they think they're doing a great job, and the American people can't see it for what it is. Over to financial news, how major U.S. stocks fared on the Friday. Let's see how the markets did. Dow Jones rose 75 points on Friday, closed the week at 34,576 for the week. The Dow was down 261, a little bit of a down week. The Dow put a link to that. People can't afford life and want to know what's going on. Check it out.
How are we, affording life right now?
Just like it was back in 2008. Well, I think it's going to be much worse this time. Sad video there, sad music. People just coming to reality, as many of us did back then. Oh, it happened to me too. I lost everything. Many of us did back then. Went looking for answers. Found this great community on YouTube of people who saying, hey, you're not alone. I'll be forever grateful. Anyway, the Great Reset. Wait till they get this. The greatest property swindle in history. Here's a little article for the people who don't know what's going on. You will own nothing and love it. Oil prices spike as Saudi Arabia and Russia extend $1.3 million barrel a day. Oil cut through December. That's nice, huh? That from the AP. Striking Hollywood workers facing eviction, some living in their cars. Okay, that from Breitbart. Whatever. Bill Gates buys $95 million worth of Anheuser-Busch shares following Bud Light disaster. Maybe he's going to come out with the New World Order beer. I don't know. Vice Chair of Minnesota, let's talk about defunding the police. Democratic Party who advocated for dismantling the police gets violently beaten and carjacked. Don't you wish there was a police officer nearby? Well, link to that. Speaking of that, the Philly PD commissioner to resign amidst ongoing crime waves. So much crime there, she don't want any part of it. Put a link to that. Other news going on, outrageous. Border Patrol agent reveals Biden regime gave $2,200 of taxpayer money per illegal immigrant family, plus a plane ticket, housing, food, free medical services. Of course, that from the Gateway Pundit. A couple more in immigration news. Biden launches nationwide workforce initiative, but for illegal aliens. Why not? from Breitbart. We got no one from the New York Post. Gen Z women are apparently saving money by ditching the pads and tampons, embracing free bleeding. I'm not even going to get into that. And by the way, this is all Major League Baseball is all brought to you by Moderna. Do you see that? You see Moderna all over the place? That's not Photoshop. That's really there. That's what you call subliminal advertising. This is how they get you to accept. This is why TV commercials are so effective. They get you to accept it. Oh, that's the way it is because it's brought to you by Moderna. Over to New Orleans and Police State News. This is where I stop and ask you, please share the report. There's a lot going on. People need to know about, first of all, the longest prison sentence yet. Ex-Proud Boys leader gets 22-year prison sentence. Longest from January 6th for 22 years. Boy, they're really sending a message, which what happens if you fall out of line, aren't they? On the gun safe, speaking of January 6th, America's top gun safe manufacturer, Liberty Safe, gave the FBI an access code to safe owned by someone who was present in January 6th protests. So Liberty Safe, if you're doing business with them, you might want to think twice. Put a link to that. Governor bans carrying guns in Albuquerque after 11-year-old is killed. Yes, only police officers are allowed to have guns in Albuquerque now because a criminal did some criminal things with a gun. Wow. Well, if someone holds you up, if another criminal decides he's going to disobey the law and have a gun, you better hope there's just a cop nearby. Wow. Does it say shall not be infringed unless there's... Oklahoma school on the agenda front hires drag queen principal once arrested for child porn and drugs. That from Zero Hedge. Speaking of that, we got a follow-up on the large-breasted male teacher that was given a police escort first day at New Toronto School, going to school to do some sort of meeting or get the employees riled up. I don't know exactly what's going on there where they got a police escort. NYC migrants over to immigration. I got a ton of it. Living in temporary shelters don't need to vaccinate to initially enroll in public school. So the actual kids, the ones with the government slave numbers, they have to be vaccinated. But the immigrants coming in, no problem at all. No problem at all. Put a link to that. We are going to look back on the barbaric insanity called medicine, absolute horror in the future. Yeah. Let me ask you something. How does this sit in your stomach?
1, 2, 3. I'm so sorry.
But you have to remember, it's for your own good. It's to keep you safe. Mayor Adams basically conceded that New York is done because of illegal immigration.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to.
Oh, you don't like this, do you?
I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this.
Federal judge orders Greg Abbott to remove border buoys. Why not? You don't want to get sawed in half with it. I guess they actually do have circular saws on the end. I'll put a link to that. Oh, look, diversity and equality has come to Israel. Check this out. What's going on in Israel? This immigration happening around the world, not just in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Madness there. Benjamin Netanyahu plans to deport all African migrants from Israel after groups involved. Really? That's going to be interesting. And I got one at the bottom. Check this out. Policing just isn't what it used to be in England. Violence encounter with migrants goes terribly wrong. Do cops in England not carry guns? Man, I don't know. Do they? This goes on for a while. Another cop joins in. This guy runs over with a bat. People holding their phones. See, there's another cop there. I think that's a cop. Does she not have a gun? I don't know. Madness. Over to World War III news. Operation Blackjack alert right off the top. Joe Biden's out of the country. Joe Biden arrives in Delhi for G20 summit. I think he's going to spend 9/11. I think they said in Alaska. He's not going to partake in any of the stuff going on in New York or D.C. So be advised. If something goes down, he's going to be kind of out of the way. Put a link to that. Biden and Molly working on warmth and confidence build. Chinese leaders skipped G20. Another one there from the AP. We got Blinken in Kiev. Surprise visit brings $1 billion more of your money to keep the meat grinder going. You don't mind, do you? Put a link to that. The Kremlin says that the U.S. is ready to fund the war until the last Ukrainian. No doubt. That from J-Post. Zelensky seems to think, though, the future of the war hinges on U.S. presidential election. Oh, trust me, we might not even make it that far. I'll put a link to that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next year. Corrupt billionaire, just an FYI, behind Zelensky's rise to power, arrested? I don't know what's going on with that. Ukraine is furious with Elon Musk for thwarting attack on Russian Navy. Apparently, he turned off the Starlink satellites to avoid an attack. That's by the way this story reads. Interesting. Cuba arrests 17 for trafficking young men to fight in Russia. Fight for Russia in Ukraine. That from Reuters. We got from Yahoo News, the Russian helicopter pilot who defected to Ukraine said he did so to avoid genocide. Okay. Put a link to that. North Korea and Russia actively advancing on arms deal. Biden aide says. Be advised, North Korea in the mix. I think they're getting ready to have their military parade, or they've already done it. It's somewhere in the mix of it. You know how they like to do that. We have the biggest penis ever. Soros' son vows no retreat from Europe. Warns Trump MAGA-style Republicans threaten EU unity. Death to the New World Order, I say. And have they lost their minds? Russia and Israel signed filmmaking cooperation deal? That from the J-Post. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. Now, it has been a busy week for earthquakes. We had a 6.3 on the 9th. We had the big ones on the 8th, the 6.8 and the 6.9. And we got the 6.2 on the 6th. I'll put a link to the earthquake data. A lot of 5s going on around the world. The big ones in Morocco. Earthquake hit by kills more than 2,000 people. Survivors sleep rough. There's aftershocks and all kind of stuff going on. They got hit hard over there. I'll put a link to that. Back in the States, magnitude 5.0 earthquake rocks Northern California. Be advised, the faults are moving in California. And we got some movement to be advised, my friends, to the south. Shaking in Missouri. Suddenly 42 new Madrid fault quakes in 30 days. New Madrid fault coming alive. I don't know. I'll put a link to that local article there. Lee, we got Hurricane Lee coming into the East Coast, I think, this next week. I haven't seen the latest numbers on it yet, but we got Hurricane Lee. Might join with a couple other storms or something. I don't know. I'll put a link to this so you can find updated. Just Google Hurricane Lee. You find the updated stuff. It's going to be here this week sometime, though. How come you haven't... Let's remember the people of East Palestine, shall we? A reporter wants to know why Biden hasn't gone to East Palestine yet.
I said in March that you would go to East Palestine, Ohio. You came here. How come you
remember this happened back in
Palestine
February?
yet?
Well, I haven't had the occasion to go to East Palestine. There's a lot going on here, and I just haven't been able to break. I was thinking whether I'd go to East Palestine this week, but
That's East Palestine, Ohio, right?
then was reminded I've got to go literally around the world. I'm going from...
and the press secretary backs his bullshit up, of course.
The president said over the long weekend that he hasn't had the occasion to go to East Palestine. I just haven't been able to break. The derailment was on February 3rd. President Biden has not had a break.
The people of East Palestine have been forgotten about.
The president will go to East Palestine. He promised that he would, and he will. You saw him...
so he was not on a break when he was in Lake Tahoe?
I will say this
He's had plenty of vacations.
He's going to go to East Palestine, as he has said that he is committed to.
Miss Clown Lady don't know what to say. At a critical moment, UN warns world will miss climate targets unless fossil fuels are phased out, of course. We got German parliament passes law to phase out gas and oil heating. That come out September 8th from Reuters. So, man, here we go. We got, good God, Britain really going to jail people if they disagree with net zero? Yeah, they're talking about prison sentences and fines. If you don't agree with our climate bullshit, you can end up in prison. Put a link on that. Mysterious flesh-like golden orb found at the bottom of the ocean. Like the beginning of a horror movie. Just some miscellaneous news here. Check this out. We'll just end this one on a positive note. Check this out. Have you ever seen an island being pushed by boats? Apparently there's this island that floats around Lake Chippewa, and every once in a while the island gets out of position or something, so the boats come and they push it around. That's pretty cool. I'll put a link to that. Over to strange and bizarre news. I got a lot of strange stuff for you. Please allow me to play some video. Did you see, everyone's probably aware of the Pennsylvania murderer who escaped prison by doing the moonwalk? Check this out. They released the video of this guy doing the moonwalk up the prison wall. Watch this.
Officials releasing this video of his daring escape, describing how he scaled a wall before pushing his way through razor wire.
He's supposedly like 5 feet tall, and he just moonwalks up the wall and gets through the razor wire. I mean, he's probably a piece of crap scumbag murderer, but apparently who is also Houdini, because as of making this video, I don't believe they found him yet. Crazy. Florida man arrested by Coast Guard for trying to cross Atlantic in human-sized. He went out of the United States in a human-sized hamster wheel. I don't know why that's illegal, but police in Ohio, I'm torn on this one. Released body cam footage of officer fatally shooting pregnant woman. They give you the censored video here. Here's the actual video. I'll play it for you. You tell me. I'm torn on this one. She apparently stole some liquor. They're trying to get her out of the car.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
And she gets hit by a headshot, killing her and her unborn child. I don't know, man. I almost put that in the police state bin, but I'm torn between, in my city and all over the place, the police officers not doing enough to pursue people. That's why there's all this rampant crime. And then something like this, where you want to say that's over the top, that's extreme, shot in the head for stealing out. It's messed up all around, man. thoughts to everybody involved. These people aren't very smart. Arsonists set themselves on fire while attacking a business. Check it out. They get what happened to them. And I feel absolutely nothing for them. I don't know if they were critically injured, but they definitely made a mistake. Mom being mom grabbed flea-bitten rabbit animal by its scruff. Here we go. Apparently, was that a raccoon or something? Is attacking a little girl's foot. Now, you know, I'm always for the animal. I'm 100% for the animals, but every once in a while, you have to take action. You can't have animals attacking kids. Mom's got to do what she's got to do. So she got to get the little kid in the house and the things. I don't know if it's biting her on the arm or what's going on. I don't know if it actually has rabies, but I'm sure they might want to get something tested. He's in a little bit of pain for sure. I hope it doesn't have rabies. I hope the little girl's okay. I hope the raccoon's okay. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Mike Lindell, you don't want to mess with him. Listen to what happens. He's doing his deposition. The guy says something about your lumpy pillows. Listen, this is great stuff here. Watch this.
Okay, and I'm not asking about the lumpy pillows.
Don't talk shit about his pillows.
No, they're not lumpy pillows. That's not what they call on. Okay.
This is great.
But when you say lumpy pillows, now you're an asshole. You got that? You're an asshole.
My pillow's not lumpy.
No, he's an asshole.
No,
he's an ambulance chasing asshole. That's what you are.
How dare you?
Lumpy pillows, kiss my ass. Put that in your book.
This is awesome. I love it. United Airlines flights resume following nationwide ground stop. Be advised, a couple days before 9/11, there's a ground stop. Don't know if that means anything. Just want to throw that in there. Speaking of planes, we had terrifying footage. What is a gender reveal party? Turns tragic as hired pilot crashes and dies. Apparently he's going to come over and drop some paint or whatever he's going to do. And his airplane just went kind of nuts and the wing broke off and he, boom. I don't know what a gender reveal party is, though. Put a link to that. California sues district that requires parents notified if kids change their pronouns. That's from ABC News. I got a couple more here. Southwest Japan City to introduce remote-controlled robots for students to lower truancy. Apparently, they're going to send a robot home with the students to remotely teach the student because they don't want to come to school or something like that. I don't know. Interesting idea. And I got one at the bottom. Madness. James Woods Googles, can men menstruate? Having a period is not a female thing. People of all genders can menstruate, including non-binary people and agender people, even plenty of men. Menstruation doesn't change anything about your gender. It's just a thing somebody's do. Madness. Shout out to James Woods there. That's all I got. Please check my favorites for more stuff. All kinds of good stuff over there. The Patriot Nurse, Mark Dice has got a good one over there with the mayor. There's a couple videos over there. Hurricane Lee stuff over there. Sam F put out one on Hurricane Lee. Megyn Kelly, I'll probably put that in the featured video at the end. You definitely want to check out what she has to say about getting vaccinated. Check out my favorites. Mitch McConnell won't step down after freeze up. Of course, all kinds of updated news. Thank you to everybody. Keeps putting out content, keeping everybody informed. You guys are doing awesome work. I do have a couple shout outs this week. I got to give a shout out to Tucker Carlson. I mean, if you haven't heard the Barack Obama Larry Sinclair story, he interviews Larry Sinclair in one of his latest episodes here on Twitter. Just a little bit of this.
So he knew Barack Obama, and in his view, Barack Obama liked the same kind of party you were looking for.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
cocaine,
sex and drugs.
Sex and drugs.
The sex part I wasn't so sure about until, of course, you make your move, but it became obvious very quick.
41 minutes long if you want to know the story of Larry Sinclair to Barack Obama. And I have to give a shout out. I can't put that out there without putting Pastor Manning. I mean, come on.
Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steamy love affair in the back of a limo, and then at the Holiday Inn, they had a steaming love affair.
Just a great old video by Pastor Manning. It's 10 minutes long. It goes in, it was made back during the Obama administration. Some stuff I don't agree with, some of it I do, but he's passionate about his work. Got to give a shout out to him. I don't think he's around on YouTube anymore. They took him down a long time ago, but that video's still floating around if you want to check it out. That's all I got for this week, guys. If you'd like to report, please give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you think it sucked, it's the worst you've ever seen, you don't want to see it again, just please rate. It helps me move around. You can also follow me on all my links below. The Twitter, the BitChutes, the Gabs, all that stuff's at the bottom, whatever it's called, the Rumbles. You can support me on Patreon or directly with DonorBox. A lot goes into these reports. I don't know if this was a good report or not. I feel like I've been screaming the whole time. My throat feels a little hoarse. I'm going to get something to drink. I'm going to get into editing. It's about 2 a.m. now. I'll probably have this up by 4 or 5. Hey, here we go on the eve of 9/11. New World Order. I mean, pick a story out of the report and tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you think's coming next. I hope you're prepared as we're moving into it's about to be fall and in the winter months. I mean, the signs are everywhere that this shit's coming back. You see what's going on now. They're talking about mandatory masking, and now all these people are coming down with it, and they're closing schools. And isn't this how it started? You guys take care, stay safe, remain vigilant always. Have a good rest of the week, and have a good upcoming week. I love you very much. I will see you on the next one.